shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's never long enough, and now we have to look forward to is Christmas. Hey, we got a great show for you today. Let me welcome you to our guest, our longtime guest, Ray Ferrara with Provise Management Group. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Steve, and a belated happy Thanksgiving, although we did say have a happy Thanksgiving on our last show.
Exactly. And how was your Thanksgiving?
You know, it's excellent. I think Thanksgiving is one of the better holidays. It's one where you're full of gratitude, thankful. I'm always reminded of how lucky we are to be here in America as opposed to many other places in the world. And there, but for the grace of God, could go any of us. And, now we're headed into a cheerful time, hopefully, with all kinds of religious holidays coming up during the month of December. And not just Christmas, you've got the Jewish holidays, the Muslim holidays, and of course, we've got New Year's and headed into a 2025. And, Steve, one thing I've learned is that time seems to go a heck of a lot faster the older we get. I'm just thinking back to us doing a show.
You're so true, right? That is so true.
Talking about year-end planning, et cetera, and here we are doing it all over again.
Is this a busy time of the year for you at Provise?
It is, Steve. And the reason that it is we're at the end of the year. So we're having to make sure that all of our clients have gotten their required minimum distributions out of their IRAs. Because if we don't make sure that happens, not only do they have to pay income taxes on the money, but they'll end up with a 50% penalty as well. So it's important to get all of that out. We're also looking to do tax planning by looking at whatever capital gains they've had, realized capital gains they've had during the course of the year. And are there any opportunities for losses to offset those gains? And, not too surprisingly, given how well the market has done this year, there's not a lot of opportunity for losses. While some things have done extremely well, most everything has gone up. Not everything, but most everything has gone up. So it is very difficult to get those losses to offset the capital gains when you have a year like this. And then lastly, we have to look at getting the position for the new year. And of course, with the new year, a new administration, and are there any little things that we want to do around the edges in the client's portfolio?
Ray, we must have had probably 5 or 6 text messages. People really respect what you say. I'm going to let you tell people about Provise Management Group, but people really respect what you say, and that is so important in your business. But people want to know how you look at these picks on the financial side, these secretaries that Trump has picked for his administration, and they wanted to know your thoughts.
So let me talk about Provise first, and then I'll answer the question on the secretaries. Provise is a financial planning firm first and foremost, because we believe that asset allocation, investment management, education planning, retirement planning, estate planning, all of those things are a subset of a financial plan. And with a financial plan, your odds increase, in our opinion, to reach your financial goals. Certainly, we do a lot on the investment side. In fact, we're managing somewhere around $1.9 billion on behalf of about 1,200 families scattered over more than 30 states, most of them here in the Tampa Bay area and in Florida. And we always offer a 1-hour consultation, complimentary consultation in our offices of either Tampa or Clearwater, or by Zoom. And we've all learned how to Zoom really well since the pandemic, and it's become a natural way for us to reach out to people that are outside of the Tampa Bay area. And all they have to do is give us a call at 727-441-9022, 727-441-9022. And just say, I'd like my complimentary 1-hour consultation, and we'll be happy to provide it. And if you want to learn more about us first, simply go to provise.com, provise.com. So secretary this, secretary that, and lots of other appointments that President-elect Trump has made. And this year is quite different than when he did this 8 years ago. He was totally unprepared 8 years ago to
Agree.
go through this process. Obviously, he learned from those mistakes 8 years ago and the things that he did. He has actually in this round gotten way ahead of most presidents in announcing who his picks are. We're very proud of the fact that Pam Bondi is now from Tampa, has now been chosen as Attorney General. We think it's great to see the first woman ever sit in that chair. A real testament to her legal abilities. Can't say kudos enough. And just over the weekend, Sheriff Cronister from Hillsborough County was named to head up the DEA.
I saw that.
And the two of them working hand in hand, I hope that they will be able to make a dent. Obviously, will not be able to eliminate, but make a huge dent in the illegal drugs that are coming across our borders. And many of his other picks are business people. The unfortunate part is many of them do not have a lot of experience on the government side. They have an excellent resume for the business side of things. We'll see what they can bring to the table as the various secretaries. Encouraged by the choice for Treasury and Commerce. There's still a couple of controversial secretaries that are out there, but then there always are. So the media has played up some of those that don't have the huge support of the Senate at this point. But that's true with every president that has nominated at these very important positions. There's always one or two that could be challenged in the Senate. Don't think we're going to see much in the way of actual challenges with votes. There may be some tough questions, and that's fair because the American public needs to hear from these people that they really don't know to try to understand who they are. But all in all, we're encouraged by the nominees that he's done, with an asterisk by the names of a couple.
They also want to know what your thoughts are on the continuation of Trump's tax cuts. Do you think that'll happen?
There is no question that during the first 100 days that the president-elect, and then will be president again, Trump, is going to push very hard on Congress to pass a new tax bill. We would anticipate that he would try to keep the tax cuts in place for the most part. However, in the process of doing that, he runs into a little bit of a roadblock from the standpoint that to get anything through the Senate, it requires 60 votes. And while the Republicans do have a majority in the Senate, they don't have 60 votes.
Right.
So he may be forced to deal with budget reconciliation, which essentially says that wherever he reduces taxes on a go-forward basis, he's got to either cut expenses from someplace else, or he has to raise revenue from somewhere else. And I think that we'll see the president definitely try to use tariffs as a way to raise revenue to help offset some of the tax implications. I think that we'll see him also propose some cuts going forward in the budget, although he is saddled with Biden's budget at the moment. He'll talk about the cuts that he's going to make in his upcoming budget later this year. So I think that that's pretty much on the table, that they'll keep those in place. A lot of talk about cutting corporate taxes again, when in the first round in 2017, cut it from 28 to 21%. Some people have said he might cut it to 15%. We think that's too low. We think that he'll cut it to 18%, but at the same time, he will probably cut some of the deductions that companies have been able to take in the past. And so those deductions that are eliminated will help offset the lower taxes. I do need to point out, however, that as a result of the 2017 reduction from 28 to 21%, then President Trump said, we're going to get more money than we ever got before, because we'll be bringing jobs back home. We'll be bringing business back home. And in fact, that has panned out in that we have raised more over the last couple of years in corporate taxes at a lower rate than we did at a higher rate previously. Whether that can happen again remains to be seen, but I would expect that he will cut the corporate taxes, but only by a few points, not by a large number of points.
So, Ray, how do we get ourselves out of this economic mess that we find ourselves in now?
So it's so easy, Steve. All we have to do is raise more revenue and cut expenses. I mean, it's so simple, And I don't think you'll find a politician on either side of the aisle that doesn't understand that we need to have greater revenue and cut expenses. But the problem is when you start to cut the expenses, and as long as it's in your district or your state and not my district or my state, I'm all in, Steve, as long as we're cutting it where you represent and not where I represent. And that's the problem that does exist. There is some talk of dismantling the Department of Education and moving the primary responsibilities out to other areas. Most people don't realize that the Department of Education was not a cabinet secretary position or department until 1979. And so it's a relatively new department. And I'm going to be surprised if he doesn't propose dismantling the Department of Education at some point during the next 4 years. So there are places to cut. Musk is heading up the DOGE, as it's referred to, the Department of Government Efficiency. They're not going to make a report until July 4th of 2026. So we really won't know what those cuts are going to look like, although I think we'll see some in this upcoming budget later in the summer. The most important thing, though, Steve, is that raising revenue and cutting expenses in and of themselves will make a dent. But the only way we're really going to get our way out of this is to grow our economy. And our estimation is we have to grow at a minimum of 3% per year, not the 1 3/4, the 2% that we did for a large part over the last 10, 12 years. We need to kick that over 3%. And if we can do that, then that will go a long way to raising more revenue without having to raise taxes in and of themselves, at least as a percentage.
Can that be done, Ray?
I'm sorry, Steve?
Can that be done?
It can be done. It definitely can be done. It's going to be a lot of hard work. I think that the president prided himself during his last 4 years, President-elect, keep calling him president. He's not president yet. President-elect Trump prided himself on his first 4 years and how well the stock market did. And I think he wants the economy to do well. I think he wants the stock market to do well, because this next 4 years is going to be about his legacy. If Trump isn't about anything, he is about his legacy and how the world looks at him and the success that he has experienced as a business person and as a president for 4 years. So if the stock market goes down over the next 4 years, nobody's going to remember how well he did during the first 4 years. So
yes,
he's going to be working very hard to keep the economy moving forward and to do so at a fast pace.
Yeah, we've only got 4 weeks left now in this year. What are some of the best tax moves an investor can be given?
Well, obviously, it's going to depend on each individual, but clearly, if you own a business and you are looking to bring income into the current year, you want to do that and or bring expenses, into the current year to lower your tax burden for this year, and you want to push income into next year. And everybody says, well, what difference does it make? Well, the difference is it's another year that you won't be paying as much in taxes. And so taxes is a timing event. So the longer you can push the taxes out, the better use of your capital occurs. One of the things that people that are self-employed or are have a solo limited liability company, an LLC, they can set up their own 401k. They're guaranteed to put in, if they're over 50, about $31,000, actually a little bit more. I think it's $31,500 in the current year out of their salary, but they've got to take it out of salary and they've got to do it this month. So if they're looking at trying to set some money away for retirement and to reduce their taxes, take a bonus out of your company as a salary this month and put it into a solo 401k. If you've had a really big year, then you might even want to consider adding a profit sharing piece to that 401k, which would allow you to put away 25% of your salary, up to a maximum of about $76,000. So big opportunity that's there. Anybody who doesn't qualify for a 401k, and there are certain income thresholds, should be looking at a tax deductible IRA. Anybody who is but they do have until April 1st of next year to actually do that. Those that are in a low tax bracket, they may want to consider using a Roth IRA, which is not tax deductible, but the money grows tax free as opposed to tax deferred. In a regular IRA, when you take the money out, you're still going to have to pay taxes on it. On a Roth IRA, you're able to withdraw the money after a 5-year period of time and not pay any income taxes on the money. So lots of moves to make. We already talked about taking losses in your portfolio earlier in the show. Another way to look at reducing taxes. And in any event, you should be looking at your portfolio and your total finances. Even if you can't reduce your taxes for this year, what can you begin getting prepared for next year?
Ray, it's all over the internet with cryptocurrencies. I mean, it's all they talk about on the internet. But I know you're not big on crypto, but what about, have you changed your mind since Bitcoin is now getting ready to break $100,000?
Well, the answer is no. I haven't changed my mind. If you can see the picture in the background there here in my office, and I love that picture because it celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Warner Brothers cartoons, and it's got all of the cartoon characters in it. And certainly since I bought it almost 35 years ago, it's increased in value. But it's increased in value only because art has a tendency to go up, but art value is in the eye of the beholder. Somebody who isn't into that kind of art isn't going to pay what it's worth, and so it's all in the eye of the beholder. And cryptocurrency is the same way. Like that piece of art, there's a limited number of editions that were done in that xerograph, and there's a limited amount of crypto. And the more people who chase it, the faster it's going to go up. But that art back there is great on my wall, and it looks nice, and I enjoy it every time I look at it. But it doesn't produce any income. It doesn't create any products. It's just there, and the value is simply in the eye of the beholder. We see the same thing with cryptocurrency. There's nothing backing it up. There's no income. It's, as long as people think it's going to go up, it'll go up because more people will buy it than will sell it. But at some point, I know I may have to eat my words one day because I have had to do it many times. I think we'll see a collapse of the cryptocurrency again, much like we saw in its early run up when it went up to 30,000 and then dropped back down to 10,000 or below 10,000, then back up again and then back down into the teens. Is it a viable investment for some people who want to speculate? That's fine. We don't speculate with our clients' money. We invest the money, and we try to invest it wisely.
Ray, your show always goes by so fast, and we're lucky that you'll be back with us in 2 weeks. But before we go, tell people, there's people out there that maybe are unhappy with their advisors, or maybe are looking into getting somebody to help. Tell people why they should go with you.
Well, first of all, we want them to just get to know us and us get to know them. And that's why we offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation in our office in Tampa or Clearwater or by Zoom. And so we want our clients to develop with us the same professional level of trust that they have with their family doctor. But you only do that by earning it, and you earn it over time. And so I had a wonderful mentor in my life who had this French expression that I hope I don't butcher too badly, but it was dépêchez lentement, which basically means hasten slowly, but go fast by going slow. And that's what we do. We want to take things one step at a time and over time develop a good, trusting relationship. We've been acting at a fiduciary standard of care, meaning we have to put our clients' best interests ahead of our own since the late 80s. To a lot of people, this is a new idea. For us, it's something we've been doing for 7 years that we've been in business. So come and see our expertise. We have 14 certified financial planners on staff. We're backed up by a wonderful a group of staff folks that provide an outstanding level of service. And the only way to do it is to experience it. And we hope that people will take the time. It's a good time to think about making change the end of this year and moving into the new year. So please give us a call at 727 441-9022, 727-441-9022. 441-9022 and set up your complimentary consultation.
I think it's so important that people know how long your clients stay with you, how they recommend you. That's why you've got so many clients around the United States, not just in Tampa, not just in Florida. People know that they can trust Provise, and I think that is so important. Let's give the phone number one more time, Ray.
Sure, it's 727-709. Oh, that's my cell. Oops. But you can call me on my cell anytime too. But it's 727-441-9022, or go to provise.com, PROVISE.com. Learn more about us and then give us a call.
Ray's going to be back again with us in 2 weeks from today with another live show. Ray, thank you so much. Again, we are so blessed to have you. You give us such great information. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Looking forward to it, Steve. Take care.
Thanks, Ray.
Bye-bye.
It's Ray Ferrara with Provise Management Group. Give them a call. Tell them you heard about it on our show. We're going to go to a short break, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.